Welcome to the Astrotherapy podcast. I am your host, Ciela Winter, and I am thrilled to dive deep into the inner realms of provocative thought while discovering an array of astrological and psychological insights to accompany us on this quest of self-inquiry. Hello. Hi. Feels like it's been a minute. Feels like I'm finally coming up for some air. And perhaps it's the lightness I'm feeling because Jupiter's on my moon, which means I'm not quite out of the woods yet. Out of the woods? What kind of woods am I talking about? Well, the question for this week is, how do you thrive during difficult transits? Great question. I am studying this one up close and personally as I am currently peeling off my psychological skin cell by cell and feeling so utterly squeezed as I wriggle through the grip of my current planetary transits. It is as if they have sunk their teeth into my old ways of being, and the only way to liberate myself is to shed and let go and become naked under the sun. In other words, shuck off constraints, habits, emotions, and attachments that have kept me in particular patterns of behavior. So, are you experiencing some upheaval in your life? How about a rigorous shakedown to your beloved ego? Or maybe feeling weighed down and forced to look at parts of your life you might otherwise gladly skip over. There are so many ways that planetary transits can show up in our lives, for better and for worse, and most likely all of the above. And as humans, we will all undergo certain transits at certain times of life. For example, the beloved Saturn return. This transit acts as a cosmic chiropractic adjustment, aligning you in the right direction. Think of it as a course correction every 27 to 30 years. And because Saturn is the ultimate timekeeper of the cosmos, we actually have a check-in every 7 years, whether Saturn is squaring or in opposition to your Saturn. So, again, knowing our transits doesn't change the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And I've mentioned this before. However, it can help to create an understanding as to why things are happening, which offers solace and reprieve. And I'd like to ask all the Capricorns out there to raise their hand and let me know how their Pluto transit, conjunct their sun, how was that? Sometime during the last 16 years you experienced this, and maybe some of you are just completing this now. And being in this camp, I can say that knowing my astrology during this time of life has been a game changer and a lifesaver for me. Aquarians, you're up next. Reach out if you're feeling inspired to know more about this. However, transits don't just happen in conjunction. What I was saying about the sun and Pluto being together, when a transiting planet crosses one of your natal planets, this is a conjunction, because transits happen in all aspects of the chart, in opposition, squares, trines, sextiles, etc. So at any given moment, many planets or facets of your psyche are experiencing a transit or more. When we educate ourselves not only about our birth chart, but also start to follow our personal astrological weather, we deepen our resilience and increase fortitude. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it can truly change your life. Again, you don't have to know the transits, let's say intellectually, to know that you're going through them. And you can't change them necessarily, but you can change your approach as to how you will live them. Right? They're going to happen anyway. This means that you can work with them rather than against them. And this is everything. So how do you thrive merely than just survive the difficult ones? Did I say that right? How do you thrive rather than merely just survive the difficult ones? Well, first, survive. Seriously. And I'm half joking, but do that part first. Remember, these transits aren't happening to you, they are happening within you. And some are characteristically experienced as a death of self. And this is pretty much unpleasant, however you look at it or try to unpack it. However, there is always a bright side. Death to what, you might ask? Death to parts of yourself that are holding you back, getting in your personal evolution, like getting in the way of your dreams, your hopes, your desires, or they're dangerous to your future in some capacity or destructive, etc. And you may be surprised at how attached to these ways of being you can be. I certainly have been, and it is shocking. My best advice to you when undergoing really challenging transits is to embrace them. Accept that this is what the current invitation is and turn toward it rather than away from it. With all of your courage, open your eyes and your heart to receive the guidance of your internal wisdom and listen, listen, listen. These are the times to slow down, pause, and take heed of what is being shown to you. Pride will often take a beating here, and you may feel a bit pummeled or brought to your metaphorical or actual knees. This is a good thing. Surrender is not an easy feat, and the more stubborn you are, the more difficult it is to get there. I am clearly writing from my experience, and I hope that it is different for you. However, we humans are not that different when it comes to inner work and the work we each have to do. All my best to you, and please receive the peace of my heart that lives inside these words.